Just get the server.
Fuck, bro. I'm on stuck so much. Okay. Let me start recording.
Wait, is my mic clear or is my other one better?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'll be honest.
I can't hear a difference. That answers your question.
Wait, is this one
That
better?
answers the question, bro. I can't hear a difference. That's what I said.
Oh, you can't hear a difference. Okay.
Yeah.
Mirror on the wall. Mula Sula.
Yes.
We can do opening statements or what? What's going on?
I mean, I don't really need an opening statement. We
I'm
obviously know like our position pretty clearly. And
Wait, are we recording now? Are we recording?
I'm recording right now. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. Well, my position is simply that I think Poseidon is statistically stronger than Zeus, so therefore he's probably gonna win.
okay, you think Poseidon is stronger than Zeus, and you think that that's the reason for. Hold on, I'm just setting up my recording. Sorry, I'm just not focused. Okay, it's creative.
Yeah.
Okay. And okay, there. Okay, yeah. So restate your thing again. I'm very sorry. Go for it.
Oh, but Harm, can you also record, please?
She's about to get molested.
Hi,
please, bro.
Yeah,
Give me some members, bro, please.
Okay,
I am getting some members.
Oh,
I
thank
am.
you, bro.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
Vortex is here.
Yeah.
Wait,
Wait, excuse me. I'm about to leave. What's the topic so I can write
Zeus,
that down?
It's Zeus versus Poseidon.
Yeah.
I'm
not gonna record any
Haram,
scans
before you
because
go,
I have to
self-promote the server, bro.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm also recording too, and
I'm
fine.
recording as well. Yo, Haram, self-promote the fucking server, please, bro. Don't
Okay,
snake me.
I'll just ping it in my server.
Nice.
Okay, yeah. So just back to the topic. Gyro, you think that Poseidon's stronger than Zeus, and as such, you think obviously Poseidon beats Zeus, correct?
Yeah, I think Poseidon just shows that he's statistically stronger than Zeus, therefore he probably wins, yeah.
Statistically stronger. Do you think? Okay, so
Yeah. So he has better stats. He has evidently better stats than Zeus, yes.
Evidently better stats.
Specifically speed. Yeah, specifically speed.
Okay, can you justify that for me?
Yeah, sure. So Sasaki just stated to be able to perceive any attack before that and react to it. And then Poseidon just blisses the fuck out of Sasaki. He's probably faster than
Wait,
Zeus.
tell me that.
Yeah, sure. I was like,
Can you guys see VC scans?
I'm just gonna send it in the chat. I don't really care.
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
20-man VC, as expected.
I'm pumped up, bro. I'm pumped, bro.
Same, I can't wait.
She's definitely pumping. Okay, here. It just stated that Sun is able to anticipate any attack, no matter how much you're thrown or how. And then, sorry, it's not sending it. And right next, in the next panel, he just gets blitzed to shit by Poseidon and damaged. So he's probably stronger.
If Adam had the fastest counter strike, Koji has the keenest ability to anticipate. No matter how fast it strikes, no matter how you're thrown, Koji will have able to anticipate them and can
You do
dodge
not
them.
need to read this stuff like.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah.
I prefer to read, bro. It's just fine.
Yeah, pretty clear.
I mean, okay, and then you obviously are showing examples of Poseidon, like, but this is very contextual though. The problem with this is that Brunhild explains explicitly why this happens, and it's because he performs a deep analysis on the character he's fighting and anticipates based on experience of the characters he's fighting. Obviously, here this is the first time he's fighting a god or a fighter on the level of a god, and as such, he doesn't have like the chance to anticipate most of his stats. This is why later on, when we see like he finally finalizes his scanning, Poseidon just can't do anything. Like Poseidon gets like literally triple tap just due to like the scanning ability. Like you're just.
I'm not sure about the last part, but when she says any attack and he can anticipate any attack, that would be indexed to the attack that she just saw with Adam and Zeus and whoever just fought before. So obviously he was already doing it before in his fights, like as a human. He never fought a god before. But when she makes a general statement like that and you want to specify it to a specific time as a human, that just feels on parsimony terribly. And I don't know about the last part. I just don't think that it's a necessary condition for him to actually know or scan someone to a certain degree to actually be able to react to them. Since he stated to be able to react to Zeus prior to that, I think he just gets blessed.
It has to be a necessary condition. So you made two claims, and I'm gonna address both of them. Yeah. So the first claim you made was that it's any attack that she's seen. For one, that presupposes she can see Adam as Zeus fighting. For one, Adam as Zeus like literally is fighting in 0 time. Like I don't see like why Brunhild
That's not
would
true.
see the attack.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
Wait, hon, is the thing that motivates her not being able to say it is the fact that they do it in 0 time? Is that what you said? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, like we just see the top fighters like cannot see
Okay, prove that.
what Zeus is doing.
Okay, prove that.
What?
Prove that it's in 0 time. If that's the thing that actually
I
motivates
got
it.
you.
Because I think that if you say that, okay, well, a narrative statement like this is just going to be false because she can't see it, and then the reason for that is something which is
That is not
false,
a
then
narrative
obviously she
statement.
would be able to say it. No, it's
Wait.
the author making a statement that's going to be something which
No,
the
it's
readers
the
read.
character making the statement. It's not an omniscient source.
I know it's not a
It's not
omniscient
an
source, but
omniscient
it's still something which is supposed to push the narrative forward. If you say that, okay, well, the statement is just going to be false. No, I was speaking. When you're not finished, I was speaking. I was in the middle of speaking. Stop. I was speaking.
Guys, come on.
I was speaking.
Stop. I was speaking.
Stop. I
I was
was
fucking
speaking.
first. You made the claim.
Brother, is this guy still out? Like, bro, I told you I was speaking first. Stop. Guys.
Yeah, just mute Gyro. He wasn't speaking.
What? I was speaking first. What are you talking about?
Bro,
No, you weren't.
Guys,
listen.
I was talking first.
guys,
You're
guys,
so
guys,
bad
guys,
faith, and you have a constant habit of interrupting people.
Ladies,
I was talking first. I was talking first. I was talking first.
Wait, guys.
You weren't talking first.
Okay,
Can someone mute Hyde? Like, what's he speaking?
I'm gonna mute both of you. Listen, who's gonna be the bigger man here, and who's gonna let the other person speak first? Okay, now I'm gonna unmute both of you and let's see.
Bro, can I finish my sentence?
Gyro,
I was interrupted rudely. If we run back the recording, you're just getting embarrassed by what you said because you said that you interrupted. I interrupted you. Sorry.
One second.
No, not 1 second. I'm gonna finish what I
I'll let you finish. I'll let you finish.
I'm gonna finish what I fucking said. Stop speaking.
I will let you.
I don't know why you feel the need to interrupt everything I say. Let me finish, okay?
I will let you finish. Just please. After I finish.
Stop speaking out. Okay, stop speaking out. Christ. Anyway, I know it's not an omniscient source, but the purpose of the statement is still going to be to push the narrative forward in some degree. And so, if you're saying that the statement which is supposed to push the narrative forward is going to be false, then it just takes away from the value of the statement. The author would be more incentivized to make the statement true in all regards. So when he says, okay, well, here's a general statement saying that, okay, Poseidon is able to perceive all attacks, and you say, okay, well, no, that's actually specific, and there's a necessary condition here, and there's that, and there's this and that. You just fail on parsimony. It's a terrible position. So you either prove it, you give me a strong argument to that, or you just lose. It's pretty simple.
So multiple parts. I want to address this very clearly. You said that even though you agree it's not an omniscient source, this is used precisely to further the narrative in some way, shape, or form. But the problem with that is that even if we agree that in some way, shape, or form it furthers the narrative, you're presupposing it furthers what you think your understanding of the story is. I'm telling you right now that the reason why this statement is made is to explain how Sasaki derives this ability, which is contextually relevant. We also can agree that if he's not omniscient, it would be based on Brunhild's knowledge and understanding of his ability from seeing Sasaki's story and his life as a human. The issue with this is that someone like Zeus, who's literally fighting in 0 time and is not being able to perceive, which I will prove to you right now if you need that. Yeah, someone like Zeus is fighting in 0 time and the characters cannot perceive Zeus. The issue is that this would not fall under Brunhild's characterization because Brunhild cannot see the nigga fighting. You want me to prove that for you?
Okay, the last part is Shadowbox, and yeah, I want you to prove it. But the first part, it's pretty simple because, like I said, when you say all, it's not me presupposing any sort of like weird narrative. It's me saying, okay, well, all, and you look at what attacks mean, and you know that, okay, well, previous attacks were thrown in the story, and that would include what Zeus threw when he was in Adamus form, where he quote unquote moved in 0 time. And you understand that, okay, well, if you want to make the general statement actually general and not specified for zero reason at all, then you would make it apply to those attacks as well. Unless, like I said, you have a strong reason not to. So no, he wasn't moving in 0 time. That's retarded. And no, when you say Brunhild didn't see it, then again, you need a very strong reason for that. It's not like, oh yeah, man, we just don't know whether or not she saw it or not. Because the author is always incentivized to make the statement actually apply to what the statement says. You can't just make a statement like this false. It just pushes the narrative in a wrong direction.
I'm gonna make it super clear. I want you to restate one of your claims. You said that it's retarded that Zeus is moving in 0 time. Correct? You said that. Correct?
Yes. Can
you repeat that out loud again for everybody?
Yes, it's retarded to say that Zeus was moving in 0 time because the statement that you're referring to, because the statement that you're referring to doesn't just say 0. It says 0 point. I'm not rambling. I'm going to explain to you why, because you want to make me look stupid. I'm going to make you look stupid. So the statement that you're referring to, is saying, okay, well, 0. The fake laugh is not going to save you. It's going to say, okay, well, 0.000. It's not just saying 0. It's not doing anything like that. An actual 0 doesn't follow itself up by 0.000 something. It's a continuous number. It's not going to be actually 0 time. Retard.
Okay, are you finished? So wait, hold on.
No,
It's
I
not
just
even
stopped speaking for some reason. Fucking
you're not
retard,
even
really.
like denying. You're not even. Wait, hold on. I want to make about your statement right now. You're not even talking about Adamus. You're just talking in general now that like Zeus cannot even like use like the time transcendent fist or some bullshit like that. Yes.
No, I'm saying that the time transcendent fist, sorry, it's not something which actually transcends time.
You don't think
Based on
so?
that. Obviously not. I just give you a reason. You want to conclude?
Any reason is that since it goes 0.00000 eternally, you think it's like an infinitesimal value, correct?
No, I'm saying that it doesn't actually exemplify zero. Because the semantic difference is that, okay, well, an actual zero doesn't need a decimal and other zeros behind it. It's always going to be just zero. So when you follow it up with different numbers, it's going to follow that it's not actually zero.
There isn't another number beside it though. That's the problem.
No, we don't see it, but because it's going off screen, I know. But I'm saying that when you follow it up with decimals or more zeros, then that's not expected of a normal zero. You don't say, okay, well, here's 0 bottles for your zero.
I know.
And you just exemplify it by saying 0.000 something.
Wait, hold on. Prove that it's not normal for zero to be followed up with an infinite amount of decimals. Because obviously we agree that zero is followed like, literally in some mathematical form. I think the reason why they applied in that manner, though, is because the whole point is like we see the decimal getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So when it reaches that 0 point, it's some form of exemplification of a significant difference. And I think this is further corroborated by the statements made in that story where they say that this power is a dominion over all of time, and then they describe it as completely transcending the domain of time itself by the all-knowing, like all-omnipotent time god. Like, what?
Okay. I can't believe that you just asked me why you don't put infinite fucking numbers of decimals besides zero. It's because you don't need it. It's always going to be just a zero. That's why you don't see like a random number. Like let's say you're reading the newspaper, you see, okay, well, here's the 0, let's say fucking apples harvested today on a random farm, and you say 0.00 fucking infinite zeros after that. That's retarded. And for the second part, that's obviously going to be hyperbole. Obviously, that's expected on my position as well.
The problem is that you can say that you don't need it in a vacuum, right? But I'm saying in this context, you do need it. Because the whole point of that scan in the fight was that Zeus was going from 0.1 second to 0.001 second to 0.0000001 second ad infinitum. So the whole point was like some form of like narrative.
That begs the question.
Continuation.
That begs
How's
the
that
question.
begging the question? It's literally
we're talking about if it's infinite. We're talking about if it's infinite. Sorry. So obviously, if you say, okay, well, it's supposed to exemplify a significant difference. I agree, it's exemplifying a significant. Stop speaking.
Wait, one second.
I agree. Stop speaking. Stop speaking. No, stop speaking. I agree that it's supposed to exemplify a significant difference, but I don't agree that that difference is actually supposed to exemplify that he's transcending time. Every statement you can bring up for the guy actually transcending time.
You just
bro, I need to finish.
What's the topic?
You just cut me off. It's Zeus versus
I need to finish. I need to finish.
You just cut me off talking about you need to.
I guess stop swearing. I guess stop swearing. Okay.
No. The problem is that the reason. Okay,
you're so retarded.
The point I'm saying is that the value keeps getting smaller in the decimal point. So I'm saying that in this context, yes, it would need the decimal so it can continue that narrative portrayal of Zeus progressively getting faster to the point where he reaches that point. I'm saying that this justification for this context is the other statements that you're putting into question being hyperbolic. And I don't think they're hyperbolic because they're derived from a literal time god who uses time-based abilities.
Okay. When I say, okay, well, the statements are hyperbolic, obviously I'm considering that, okay, well, the guy who's making it is someone who's, very smart, very strong, whatever. He also has a point in the narrative, obviously. But then that doesn't mean that he's not making a hyperbolic statement. And the reason for that is, like I said, generally when you say, okay, 0.00 something, you don't say that, okay, well, the guy's literally transcending time. Because when you say 0, you just say 0. So when you say, okay, well, it's supposed to exemplify a significant difference in speed, I agree. I just don't think that it means 0. Is that simple? I don't think it's that hard.
I understand that, but that's begging. You're repeating. I'm not even begging the question.
I'm begging the question. You want to conclude? I'm begging the question. You want to conclude?
No, I don't want to conclude. I want to finish my point.
You think that question? Like you're retarded?
I want to finish. I said you're not.
You're so retarded. You are so retarded in the brain. Do you want to conclude now?
You can obviously say that, but you're just repeating yourself. Again, I told you yes. You wouldn't need the decimals in a vacuum. Yes, but contextually here, since the whole point of it is to portray Zeus getting faster in a decimal point. So obviously, when they're trying to continue it and show this little gap, I don't know why you're repeating yourself here. And then again, it's not someone who's just fast and strong. Who's
you didn't check. You didn't check.
I literally checked. You just said
no, brother. I agree that it's exemplifying some significant difference in speed. I agree. But what you're saying is that it's transcending time. Hold on, let me help you check. Okay. So what you're saying is that it's transcending time, and that would be the motivation for saying that Brunhilde actually never saw the attack. Well, I disagree because obviously it's not transcending time. So okay, so are you going to give me an argument? Because you saying it's necessary. Okay, you just fail in person in the end. You want to try again? You want to try again?
That's not my argument. That's not
Go
my
try again.
argument. You just completely feel the track.
Bryce, you are so confused. It's actually like not even funny. Okay, do you
You're
want
the
to
one
conclude?
who's literally confused. You're the one
Do you
who's
wanna
not tracking my
Do you want to
argument.
conclude? Do you want to conclude?
No, I don't want to conclude. In fact,
Okay,
I'm
I'm not tracking your argument. I question back, but you don't want to conclude. I question back, but you don't want to conclude.
Stop talking. I already told you. Let
Oh
me
my gosh.
finish.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Go
I'm gonna send the scans in chat for everyone to know what I'm talking about, right? So, because I know a lot of people have not read Record of Ragnarok, but the whole point was like in this fight, we see Zeus progressively reach a smaller decimal value. So yes, in a vacuum, 0 would not need to be denoted by a decimal. I agree with that. But the issue is that the reason why they would feel the need to denote 0 with a decimal value here is to denote back to the context of the story. This is why I keep talking about in a vacuum. I'm not talking about just a significant speed gap or anything like that. And again, what's my proof for it being a time transcending ability is that the ability is not just from a strong character, but literally the god and personification of time itself. And every single statement that talks about it isn't saying that Zeus is just moving super fast, but rather that he's surpassing and transcending time itself. You said it's hyperbolic, but I've yet to see an argument or a justification. And I can challenge anybody in this fucking VC to give me a reason or something that Gyro said that proves it's hyperbolic. Because he hasn't.
Right. Dude, again, for the last part, like I said, the reason why I'm saying it's hyperbolic is because you're saying that, okay, well, I'm using this statement, or me being Zizo, I'm using this statement to say, okay, Brownheld actually doesn't know about this. And when you say, okay, well, it's a god, he's this strong, he's that smart, whatever. I agree, but that's expected. That's not incompatible with him making a hyperbole. And the reason for that is, like I said, that's how you can't account for the reason, okay, well, why did he actually make so many decimal points after the original 0? You can't account for that. You're only saying it, okay, well, maybe it's supposed to portray some kind of difference in the narrative or some kind of like point in the story, whatever. But generally speaking, like I told you, people don't use zeros like that. That's pure autism. Pure autism.
Again,
How do you account for that?
The issue is supposing this is some form of general problem. Like again, about what you were saying earlier about the hyperbolic. Yes, it's logically possible or technically possible that it's hyperbolic. Nobody disagrees with that. But the problem is it's very unreasonable and less parsimonious for it to be hyperbolic for the simple reason that the character who uses this ability is the literal god and personification of time itself. He's like
you just question back. You just question back. You said that my position is less likely because of the thing that you outlined before, him being a god. I said, okay, well, I agree that he's a god. I agree that he's this level of smart. He's this level of strong. But that's not incompatible. I can account for that just as well as you can. And you say, okay, well, that's parsimony is. Do you even know what parsimony is? What kind of account of parsimony are you going to? What account of parsimony are you going under?
I mean,
what account of parsimony are you going under? What account of parsimony are you going under?
Wait, let me finish. Please let me finish. Please let me
finish.
What
again? No, again? What account of parsimony are you going under? This is very important.
This is important.
This is important. Okay,
I know it's important.
You don't know what parsimony is. You just use the word that you don't know about. It's not less parsimonious.
You just made a big blunder. You just made a big blunder. Please let me finish. Please let me finish. Thank you. What you said verbatim. You keep doing this. I don't know why you keep doing this, thinking you're sneaky. You keep switching what I say from the literal personification of time and switching that to, oh, he's just strong and fast. I never once said he's just strong and smart. I'm not saying that. I'm going to reiterate it for you clearly. And please don't say, oh, this guy's just strong and smart. He is literally the personification and God of time itself. So when you're saying that, oh, it can be hyperbolic or it's not mutually exclusive from being hyperbolic, I agree with that. But it makes no fucking sense for the god of time itself to be described as transcending time for it to be just a hyperbole of him moving fast. If that's the case, and you really believe that, I want some form of argument.
Crest.
Because
brother, you understand that when I say strong and fast? Oh, brother, relax. Hold on, take a deep breath, okay? In,
I'm calm.
Out. Okay, calm down. Okay, thank you. When I say strong and smart, I understand that's maybe not what you're saying verbatim. But point is, whatever you said, whatever you described about that god, and whatever you say doesn't make sense with my position, it's not actually incompatible with my position. He can be the literal personification of time. He can be fucking God himself, like literally God of everything. I don't give a fuck. What he said can still be hyperbolic. It's still as likely to be hyperbolic as whatever the fuck you're saying. Okay? So unless you give me an argument for me either not being able to account for something within that persona or maybe some kind of other way of reasoning, then my position is just as likely as yours. Yet mine doesn't fail on the account of the guy using a bunch of fucking zeros after the random 0. Even though he could just say 0 and leave it at that if he actually transcended time. You can't account for that. I can account for whatever you're saying.
You just made a big jump in logic, okay? Because all of your argument right now proves, and I'll explain to you how you made a big jump in logic. You're arguing right now that my position, my arguments, and my debunks are compatible with your interpretation. Yes, I agree with that. Your interpretation
again.
No, it's not a concession because it's technically
again. Because
No,
if it's
what I
compatible
have-
with your interpretation,
Look
there's
at the
evidence for my interpretation as well.
No, it's not. It's not. The
Yes, it
problem,
is.
the
You know what compatible
problem-
means?
The problem. Wait, hold on. Stop. The problem
You are so
is
confused.
that it's not as likely as mine. That's the issue we have at hand.
Why?
And the
I'm
reason
asking you why. If it's
Okay, I'm
bro,
about
if
to
it's
explain
compatible
to
with
you.
my
Let me
interpretation,
finish. Let me finish.
then it's evidence for my interpretation as well.
Let me finish. Just let me finish. Okay. Thank you. Please let
Your
me
question,
finish. The problem is that just because something is possible doesn't mean it's equally likely. And the reason, my argument again, for it being some form of likelihood for me, is that it does not befit the nature or the characteristics or the description of the god of time to just simply be moving fast. Generally, when we describe someone as having time-based abilities or being the god of time itself, we should reasonably conclude that he has some form of time-based abilities. For example, if you have a fire god, it wouldn't make sense for that god to not use fire. Like, I think that's a pretty general assumption. So
Wait
when you
again.
talk,
Last part. Wait again. Last part.
okay, the last part I said, I'm just giving you an example. The example I'm giving you is that it wouldn't make sense, for example, to have like a fire god, like the literal god of fire, not be able to handle or control time or like some bullshit like that. That's the problem. And I'm saying that in this case, when a god, like I'm gonna send this scan in chat for everybody too, so like everyone can see it, is described as the personification of time itself. To just be moving fast makes no fucking sense because it does not befit the characteristics of someone who's described as the concept of time itself. So please give me an argument on why my
Brother,
interpretation.
you don't understand anything. You don't understand anything. What I'm saying. The reason why I said it's compatible is because, like I said, everything that you just gave is not only evidence for your view. It's also something which I can account for under my view. So when you say, okay, well, it doesn't make sense for this or it doesn't make sense for that, and you just keep whining, it doesn't tell me anything. Because I agree that he controls time. I agree that he's a personification of time. I understand that he understands what times is. I know all of that. And I read the story as well. I probably read it more than you. So when you say, okay, well, he's a personification of time, that doesn't tell me anything. Why is that not a hyperbole? Because he can be the personification of time. He can even know more than this person itself, Chronos, and still make it hyperbole. And the reason for that is, like I said, you can't account for the actual scan that I sent.
Again, you can argue it's possible, because you understand
That's
all
not
you
what
just
I'm saying.
successfully proving it's possible. Correct? That's all you're arguing here.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Yes, it is.
I'm saying that you have zero likelihood. That's what I'm saying. You have zero likelihood.
No, wait. Whoa.
You just described something. Hold on. You just described something to me. You said, okay, well, he's the personification of time. Stop speaking. Let me explain this. Let me explain something to you, okay? You described something about this character, and then you said, okay, well, based on these descriptions of the character, I ought to believe that, okay, well, this is not a hyperbole. I said, okay, well, I can also take to these descriptions of the character and say that, okay, well, it's still a hyperbole, given that, okay, well, those descriptions don't even work as a likelihood increase anymore. You branded fucking retard.
No, it's not retarded. I'll give you a third interpretation and show you why this is not retarded.
Christ, okay.
I can also posit that every single one of these niggas in this scan is high as fuck and all are lying and trolling. That's technically possible. And if you give me a scan or some bullshit like saying that, oh, we're not high, I can also say like, oh, they're also high in the scan and they're lying. That's also a possibility. And it's also compatible with everything we talked about. But obviously, me and you would agree that this interpretation is less parsimonious. So for you to say that the ability of the time
No, I don't agree. Why? I don't agree. No, I don't agree.
No basis, no evidence.
No, you keep saying that. I don't agree.
Wait, let me finish.
But you don't even know what parsimony is. I don't agree. I don't agree.
Okay,
I don't agree.
I'll define to you what parsimony is. Parsimony is just Occam's razor.
People in chat are confused. Let me explain what I agree with, okay? So I don't agree with the thing we're talking about being less parsimonious. I agree with everyone trolling and being high on drugs and just making a false statement. That obviously would be less parsimonious. So that would be the issue with that interpretation. But when you say, okay, well, this guy's the personification of time, and he's saying, okay, well, because he's the personification of time, then, okay, well, he's not making a hyperbole. That's cool. You can say that. But that doesn't, him being the personification of time is not likely to increase for that, because it also is perfectly compatible, just as compatible with my interpretation, saying that, okay, well, it's also hyperbole while him being a personification of time. Holy fuck.
It's not about compatibility. Stop arguing for compatibility. The problem is that you keep saying compatibility and you think you did something. The problem is that you didn't do anything by saying, oh, this is still compatible with what I'm saying. The problem is that the issue is that the reason why I brought this thing earlier is that you're talking about compatibility. So even the example I gave you, even though it's not as parsimonious, we both agree upon that. It's still
I don't agree. Why is my position not parsimonious?
I just said you don't agree.
Okay. So can you actually tell me why? Stop rambling. Stop rambling.
But we agree it's still compatible because there's no contradiction in it, correct?
With what?
With this third analogy I gave you about like, oh, they're just all high on drugs. Yes, it's less parsimonious, but it's still compatible.
Obviously, yeah.
Good.
But then the reason why I'm saying is, let me just, you're confused a little bit, okay? So the reason why I'm saying, okay, well, this being compatible is relevant is because outside of it being compatible, you haven't actually given any further evidence or any sort of reason for me to actually accept your interpretation. You're just saying, okay, well, here's a description. You should accept this interpretation. I'm saying, okay, well, this description works equally as well with other shit. So if you want to explain to me why my position is less parsimonious, or maybe there's more evidence for your view, because I just gave you a reason for why my position is actually more in line with the story, more in line with the scan.
No, you haven't. Let me explain to you how. Because the reason why this isn't as parsimonious is because you're attributing something and a concept and an ability that's completely distinct in characteristics from the concept of time to a time-based god. You're applying, because you're obviously, if your interpretation is true, we'd be saying that this is a speed-based ability. He's just moving super fucking fast. And if that's the case, that he's just moving super fucking fast, how is that connected in any way, shape, or form to the person who is described with the abilities of time? You'd also have to justify why it's hyperbolic, rather than taking the easier, more simpler interpretation of just saying that the character is described as transcending time probably makes sense for a character who's described as time itself. That's a more simpler, but more parsimonious
Brother, I'm not.
because the concept of time applied to a time-based character rather than speed applying to something that's distinct from time. You understand why one is more parsimonious than the other? Because you have more stuff to prove in your interpretation compared to mine. So please respond.
I never said that it's a speed-based ability. I'm not saying that he says, okay, well, yeah, this guy is just transcending time and he's making a claim about anything. I'm just saying that whatever he said, obviously he's going to be talking about his own ability time. And so he's describing whatever Zeus did to be something which is indexed to that time. But I'm just saying that whatever Zeus did, if you want to talk about speed or strength or anything else, that would just be hyperbolic. He's not literally transcending time. Because when we see the ability being used in story, when he's actually throwing a punch, that isn't what we see on screen isn't expected with him actually transcending time. The way it's semantically portrayed is something which is totally different. And I already showed you why. Because generally speaking, when you use zeros, you wouldn't say, okay, well, 0 point fucking infinite other zeros after that. You would just say 0 because, like I said, it's easy, it's easier, it's more straightforward. It's just generally going to be easier to understand. It's not that hard.
Two things. I was talking about when Kronos uses it, and two, we already been through the 0.000 thing. I agree with you that normally nobody fucking denotes 0 as 0.0000 whatever, right? Nobody denotes 0 like that. I agree with you. But the reason why I'm saying that this is not a general case and a specific exception is to build on this narrative of the story, as I showed you guys.
That's why it's less parsimonious. That's why it's less parsimonious.
Wait, hold on.
Your position is less parsimonious.
No, it's not less parsimonious. If we have more evidence to build upon it to show you.
You don't have evidence. That's the point. The description that you gave is not evidence.
You obviously think that. Don't just say, "Oh, you don't have evidence." When I'm about to present you the evidence.
Okay, so you're gonna give me something new? Are you gonna give me something new?
No, one second.
Just to be clear, if you want to describe Kronos again as him being the time god or whatever the fuck, we'll just conclude right now because that's not evidence. I just explained to you why that's not evidence.
We can conclude after this. I'm talking about the 0.00 thing. I'm talking about decimals specifically. The reason why they bring up decimals and why in this case it makes sense is because it shows Zeus progressively using newer abilities and stuff. And in this fight, he gets faster till he reaches and uses that specific ability from a new god. So it makes sense for him to use decimals because every single ability here is denoted by decimals. That's the whole point. I'm saying.
No, I agree that it makes sense for him to use decimals. I agree that it makes sense for him to use decimals. I agree that.
Nice.
No. I agree that it makes sense for him to use decimals. I just don't agree that it makes sense for him to use decimals and that many decimals. If he's saying, okay, well, he transcends the number 0. He's literally transcending time. I don't agree with that. And the reason for that, for why I don't agree with that, is because semantically, when you talk about zeros, you don't say, okay, well, here's a number fucking 0, and like you agreed prior to that, you don't say, okay, 0 point fucking infinite other zeros behind that. You just fail to account for that. And so any description, any like piece of evidence that you may give, which my position is compatible with and my position accounts for, you fail to account for this piece of data, which is the semantic difference. So like I said, your position is less parsimonious. It doesn't account for something.
You're repeating yourself, so like I just want to conclude. Like I don't think I said anything new.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so finish recording. Thank you.
Recording, or like you just want to move on to another point? Like, are you gonna conclude or no?
I mean, I don't think I need conclusions, but if you want me to conclude, I'll conclude. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, I just think to like I want to just conclude everything and like just clarify everything for the audience, because I know like for one, like a lot of the audience here has not read Record of Ragnarok, and I think I want to portray it's like just what we're talking about and make it a little bit more sense. So the scanning question for everyone.
Oh, that's nice.
Scan of Zeus. I'm gonna show you the scanning question actually for everybody too. So like you guys are following up. Basically, it shows Zeus moving in a time frame like span by, and basically like zeros going off the page. I'm arguing that this is moving in 0 time, and this contextually makes sense because Zeus is in this fight is using an ability that grants him dominion over all of time, complete transcendence over all of time, and literally overpowering the complete personification of time itself. My opponent here tried to argue that this is hyperbolic and this is just a speed-based ability. But the issue with that is that it makes no sense for a character who's using time-based abilities, like for example, a time god, because he agreed it makes sense for a time god to be using time-based abilities to just be out of the blue using a speed-based ability. It's obviously more fitting for a time-based god to be using a time-based ability in conjunction with all these scans. The last thing that Gyro, I don't know why, for some god-forbidden reason, keeps saying that I didn't account for was the zeros thing, how it doesn't make sense to denote zero in this manner. The problem with this is that I agree, yes, it makes no sense to denote zero like this in a vacuum. But the issue is that this is not some statement in a vacuum. Contextually, we see Zeus go from 0.01 to 0.001 to 0.0001, so on, so on, so on, so on. And as such, it makes sense for them to use the scan like this. So I don't know why Gyro keeps saying I didn't account for it. So for one, my interpretation is more parsimonious. It makes more sense. All the defeaters that Gyro provided here aren't actual defeaters. And then the last thing about compatibility, he can say that, yes, it's compatible for it to be hyperbolic, but it makes no sense and it's less parsimonious. And therefore, I think I won just because my interpretation makes more sense and is more likely. That's all I got to say.
So all I have to say is that this guy's super fucking confused. And the reason for that is when we're talking about the scan, and I said, okay, well, Poseidon is saying here, okay, well, or not, Brunhall is saying here that Poseidon and Sasaki, the guy Poseidon is blitzing here, he was able to perceive all attacks before that. All, it's a general statement. And then he said, okay, well, yeah, maybe Sasaki just perceived as a human and he never fought a god before. He just dropped that shit immediately because I told him, okay, well, you're just making those parsimonious. And then he said, okay, well, how about this? Maybe Brunhall just didn't perceive Zeus because actually Zeus moved in 0 times, so that was his motivation. And I said, okay, well, if you actually look at the scan that you're referring to, then semantically it doesn't really make sense because when you say 0 time and you're transcending time and you just use the number 0, you wouldn't use it with such a prolonged way. So you wouldn't say, okay, 0.00 something. You would say, okay, well, 0, because that's the simpler way. That's the more easier way. That's how everyone does it, ever. You will never see anyone using the number 0 like that. And so when you say, okay, well, Zizo conceded that, by the way. He said, okay, well, yeah, that's how you generally use it. So unless he attempts to account for that piece of data, which is the semantic difference, he just fails. He just loses outright. And so for that, he realized that, and he said, okay, well, maybe Chronos, look, when he said, okay, well, this guy transcended time, this guy is literally the embodiment of time. And I said, okay, cool, that's fine. He can be the embodiment of time. But then the way he would be using the words is still compatible with saying, okay, well, he's just making a hyperbole. And the reason for why I'm saying that is because while taking that interpretation, I would also be able to account for the semantic difference there, or the numbers of 0 used. So very obviously, if you fail to account for that fucking scan that you're using, then your interpretation makes 0 sense. And so when you say, okay, well, this guy's the god of time, he's this and that, he's actually the better of time, it doesn't make any fucking sense to say that, well, yeah, this guy just decided to use a bunch of decimals after a 0, even though he tried to portray the number 0. So it's very simple. It's wholly terrible. This guy's confused as fuck. Christ. Anyways, yeah, besides.
Oh, Zizo's Wi-Fi disconnected. But while waiting, Gyro, was your account of parsimony, is it just going to be ontological, right? So you're not multiplying entities beyond necessity? Is that a true or false statement?
Statistical parsimony. Statistical parsimony.
So let's talk about ontological for a minute. Do you hold to ontological parsimony?
Oh, he loves ontological parsimony.
Oh, we love it. We love it.
Okay, so what type? Type A or type B?
There. Yeah, my shit's back.
Shut up! If you want to talk about something else, then yeah, you just could kill on the spot.
I mean, sure. Like, if there's anything else, like, do you have any other scaling or anything like that? Like, just if you want to talk about something else, is that your only scaling?
Yeah, it's my argument.
Bro, who is that, bro? Who is that?
I get shit repeated. That was not me, bro.
That was wrong.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about? Or like,
Bro, Tron sounds so sexy. I'm sorry. Well, that's my scaling. Yeah, I just think that Poseidon, while not even trying, can just blitz Zeus, and then he just gets massively strong throughout the fight. But yeah, if you have any scaling for Zeus, we can talk about it.
I just think Zeus is sitting through the pinnacle of divinity and just has direct statements of being faster. Like, just for example, being the only one who can catch Apollo's arrows, for example.
Okay. Well, for the first part, I just think it's in reference to him being the king of gods, and that's it. It's because he beat Kronos. He's the pinnacle. And the reason for that is, okay, I'm just gonna assume my scaling before. I just think that it wouldn't make it wouldn't make sense with the scaling that I proposed to you before. If you don't want to take that route, then I'll just say that, okay, well, you just can't prove that it's talking about strength. And for the second part, I think I'm pretty sure that it's contextualized by him being just able to see the arrows and not him being just faster than everyone else. And by the way, Poseidon was just dead as fuck at that point. So yeah.
Okay, so a few things. For one, just being retarded, bro. Can you just
Tron
mute
guy,
the
man.
individual doing that?
Yo,
Okay.
Tron, please.
Anyways,
come on, man.
yeah. So you understand that if you're gonna argue that it's due to like his kingly nature, you understand that Zeus became the king due to his strength, right? Because a lot of the gods participated in the.
What the fuck, yo? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh yeah, wait. Are you
Yo.
saying that it's because of it?
Yeah, because the tournament that happened was a tournament to like determine who's the strongest, and Zeus like cleared everybody in that tournament, like without even taking a single. And that's what made like the Greek pantheon like submit and cuck to Zeus.
Yeah, but that's talking about different fighters. If I'm like, if I'm called a
pussy.
Yo, can someone?
I'm banning everyone who's fucking using the soundboard. I'm done, bro. I'm fucking done.
Like,
I'm sorry, bro.
relax.
I'm sorry. Well, regardless, yeah, that's fine. Like, for example, if I beat like a group of kindergartners and they call me the strongest man because of that, because I'm the fucking king of kindergartens, and then you ask me, okay, well, this guy is called the strongest man, so he obviously should be stronger than Mike Tyson. I'm sorry, whoever did that.
Frost, you're done.
Yeah.
You're banned.
Guys,
I don't care
wanna hear
anymore.
what Gyro has to say.
Yeah, and so unless he beat Poseidon or beat anyone comparable to Poseidon, then him beating and becoming the king because of his strength there doesn't actually matter. It doesn't backscale to Poseidon. It's a very simple response.
You don't think Poseidon participated, correct?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? I think it makes more sense. For one, Poseidon's older than Zeus, and two, it was like to determine who should be the leader of the Greek pantheon. You know this because that's what
You think he's like forced to participate?
I mean, I don't know if like necessarily like, maybe they're forced. I think if anything, like he would fight alongside his brothers. I think that's in nature for Poseidon to do. In the same way, like he, because
yeah, I think it's in nature for him to just not care about fights. That's what we see. He doesn't really care.
That's not true. Like he helps the gods fight the giants. Like that's just not true.
No, he can't. Okay, so he wanted to help. I'm not sure when he wanted to help, but regardless, he came to the giants and maybe he wanted to fight there. But when you say, okay, well, he participated in this tournament, one instance of him caring for his brother's fucking life, doesn't mean that he's gonna participate in some fucking silly tournament.
I mean, sorry.
Point is, okay, he could have cared, like in this one instance. Okay, cool, but that's fine. That doesn't tell me that he would care to actually participate in this tournament. Because you're saying, okay, well, he's not forced. He's older than Zeus and all this and that. I agree, he's older than Zeus, but that would require him to actually want to actually go and fight. So you think that's in character? But can you show me the Hades shit, the Giants shit? I don't remember that.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. So, second. Go to Hades. So it's in 61.2. In fact, I'll just get you like the chapter too. So basically, just for context, and I'm gonna show it to everyone in the chat. Basically, like the giants and the titans like had a pincer attack on the gods like from both sides, and like the gods were basically cooked until like Hades like decided to step up and solo all of them. But we see like Poseidon's there fighting like just alongside the gods and stuff. Like like in any situation, he's there. Like he's always been there. Like
okay,
that's like the whole point of his narrative as a king.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that last part, but hold on. And so that one's we're faced with a. I don't see Poseidon, does he? That.
No, I know. In this, I'm just giving the context. I'll give you like the scan of Poseidon there right now, and look who's reading it out loud. Is this 61.2? What the fuck? This is 61. I guess I put it wrong on my scan server.
Well, Arjun is a shell Brown's crying. Oh my gosh.
Give me a second. Yeah, so
Wait, I don't know why you're spamming pause. I beat the fuck out of you. So stop, please.
You already lost to me. You're actually ass, Gyro. The two
why
of
is your mic so
you
loud?
said vouched and call you good.
Why
Said,
is your
one
mic
said
so
you were worse. The other one said you lost to me.
Wait, do
Never
you guys
speak
wanna
on me
debate
again.
after
Why is
You're
your
actually
why is your mic so
horrible.
loud?
No one
Fucking debate
outside
after
of your
this.
syndicate thinks you won. Even if we were to use your syndicate vouches, I still have consensus over you. And the reason I have consensus over you is because you're complete shitter and you can't debate at all.
Maybe
You're just
you
gonna
don't
let me talk
think-
to you like this, okay? So now mic down.
Yeah, I'm gonna because your mic
Yeah,
is
and
right
I'm
now.
gonna wait.
Yeah,
And when you try to speak again,
stop.
I'm just gonna continue
Stop.
to do it again.
Can you-
So
can you
your
stop?
best bet
Guys,
is
come
just
on.
to stop
Stop.
speaking to me, you
Wait, Arjun,
absolute
can you
retard.
mute?
Because
Can you
I
mute?
beaten you
Guys, come on.
4 times. You've
Arjun,
unironically
can you
never
mute him?
pressed me.
Arjun,
Guys,
mute him.
let's just stick to the topic. Let's just get the debate.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know
okay.
he just started crashing out immediately. Yeah, it's pretty funny. By the
yeah,
way, everyone said
sorry.
they want that bit. Like, actually, listen. But yeah,
Just
regardless,
to
let me
stand
see
here,
this. Yeah.
like yeah, it's like we just see like Poseidon's like in the bottom and left here. Fuck, I can't even tell my lefts and rights. I'm cooked.
Sounds like
Yo, hide you're unmuted, bro.
I'm off. It's been a long time.
Yeah,
How did just retard? I don't really care. But
so
yeah.
so
You lost me 4 times.
No, okay.
I beat the Dutch show.
Relax,
Like
yeah.
how many times
So
again?
yeah, like
Regardless.
if like, Poseidon's in character fighting in the Gigantomachy, I don't know why he wouldn't fight in the Titanomachy. It's like
Okay. I'm not sure about the distinction between those two, but for the second panel, we see he's there. We don't see him fighting.
and I'm just
Well, that's very fair side, but let's just hold on. That's not really relevant to me. Hold on, that's not relevant to me so far. Hold on. I'll just tell you this. Well, it's all I know about these two things. Maybe I'm just wrong, but all I know about these two things is that they're just fighting contexts. Me caring about, let's say, a war doesn't mean I will care about the random boxing tournament, right? So when you say, okay, well, this guy like fought here, and so he probably fought there. I'm not sure if that's inductive at all because you're not showing me some kind of inference. You're just saying, okay, well,
Right.
here's like some idea that's associated with these two contexts, and therefore this can be served as some sort of evidence that it's actually in character for Poseidon.
Gyro, you did it again. I'm gonna call you out for it. Like again, like downplaying stuff on purpose, where you say stuff like, for example, earlier you were talking about, oh, like this god is just strong and smart, and then now you're just saying, oh, it's a random boxing match. One, no, this isn't a random boxing match. This was the event of the Titans versus the gods, like that dictated the fate of the gods. And two, like it was such an important event to the gods that like this made them decide that Zeus should like lead the entire pantheon, and that's something Poseidon supported. So stop saying, oh, it's just a random boxing match, because it's not just a random boxing match. You keep doing that, and I'm gonna call you out every time you do it. So don't do that. And,
Brother, the whole point is that the context is not connected. That's the whole point. It doesn't matter to me if it's like a random boxing match or if it's like a gladiator tournament where it's like literally life or death. I don't really care. I'm just saying that if these two contexts are not connected to us, or to our knowledge rather, then you can't actually make a proper induction of that. That's not inductive.
I can make a proper induction. The induction I'm making is based on Poseidon's character and nature. That's
No, but I'm saying that, okay, well, you show me, hold on, let me explain something to you, okay? You're saying that this guy is caring in this context. He has like some sort of care in the world for this thing, this battle. And you say, okay, since it's a fighting context, that's I'm assuming to be the context or the inference.
Mhm.
Therefore, he would probably care about this tournament as well. And so I'm saying, okay, well, the only thing that's true of these two things is the fact that they're fighting. And so that doesn't tell me anything besides. There's no inference. You're not saying because he fought here, therefore he fought there. What kind of inference is actually going on?
I'm not okay. That's not the inference I'm making. I'm saying that if he's willing to fight here in the more important event, it makes more sense for him to be willing to fight, given his nature as being dependable and reliable, which is described by Hades, and that's what makes him a king.
Okay. The more important event being what? Sorry.
The Titanomachy, which not only talked about like the event of the clash between the gods and titans, but also described who would lead their pantheon, and hence it's a more important event.
Okay, so he fought in a more important. So hold on. So you just told me that he fought in a more important event. That's what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that it would make more sense for him to fight in the more important event.
I thought that the Titan one is the more important event. Is that what you said?
Yeah, and then the Titan one's the more important one.
And Kronos was beat in the Titan one.
Yeah. Okay, and this
Okay,
is also
yeah, sorry.
this is also compared here, right? Like this was like such a big event. Like that's the whole reason why this event happened, because like it was an outrage like to the entire cosmos. Like I'm just putting in like such immense emphasis on how important this event was. That not only like did they all like realize like, yeah, like Zeus should like lead us, like that's like the god of the gods, but Gaia was like completely outraged and angry. Like literally the cosmos themselves like was outraged and angry that this event would happen. So it makes more sense that this earlier event was a more important event, and as such, Poseidon's kingly nature to fight and support his like teammates and like his allies and whatever, it would make more sense for him to be fighting in this one rather than the other, like compared to like the other one. So if he's fighting the other one, it makes more sense within character for him to also be fighting the other one. And Zeus like literally cleared everybody in that tournament like without even getting it like hit once. And, like,
Okay. So you think that Zeus fought everyone in the tournament? Because I can probably agree that Poseidon probably fought. You think that Zeus literally beat everyone? Is that like a free for all tournament?
I mean,
I'm not sure.
I mean, I don't know if he beat everyone, but we do know that Kronos is stated to be the mightiest god in that tournament, like the mightiest god in the universe at that time, and it was just negative diff them.
Okay. So he didn't beat everyone, so that would eliminate Poseidon. Okay, so he beat someone who was stronger than Poseidon at a time, and so he's stronger than Poseidon currently?
This is the tier 0.
Oh yeah, let's get Infinity versus Gyro to keep the activity, man.
Of
I
course.
want to high shot some. But yeah,
Oh, okay,
regardless-
so he conveniently dodged Infinity, the guy
Guys,
he consistently
guys,
collected.
okay.
Hi, come on,
When
let's-
Infinity
I get like
Listen.
like he's just annoying as fuck, yeah.
let's
But yeah,
take
regardless,
this up to
you told me that this guy beat someone who was stronger than Poseidon at the time. Therefore, he's stronger than
Yeah.
Poseidon now.
I think if anything, Zeus is the character who should be getting a lot stronger at a rate faster than Poseidon, because with Zeus, like we see him like just gaining new abilities and stuff. Although I'm not gonna like make an obviously an argument of ignorance and say like, oh, we didn't see Poseidon get stronger, therefore he didn't get stronger. Wow, like that. I'm not gonna argue that. But what I'm gonna argue is that if anything, it makes more sense for Zeus to just be getting a lot stronger because he's one actively gaining new abilities and has stuff that literally nobody's ever seen. Like something like Adamas. He literally has an ability that can insta-kill his previous form. And something like that, plus the fact that he can use a time transcendent fist in that state, we see like it's stated verbatim, he can do that. That should be a bigger
just went
gap
over
than
that.
it makes a lot.
We just went over that. But yeah, regardless, I was up Infinity. Yeah. Anyway, regardless, I agree that he gains. I agree that he gains abilities. Yeah, but we don't know if he gains more abilities or gets stronger than Poseidon at a fast rate. Because all you told me, all you told me is that this guy gets stronger and faster, or
No,
gets better.
I understand. I'm saying that if anything, it makes more sense for Zeus to be the one like to be getting like stronger and stuff, like more strong than Poseidon. Because
No, unless he
I'm not
told me.
saying, like-
Unless he told
I'm
me
not
that.
saying like the absence of evidence is proof, but I'm saying that someone who like clearly has like such exaggerated and insane amps would make more sense for him to be stronger than a character who does not have any exaggerated or insane amps to the point like he can insta kill his previous forms. Like I think that.
No. Wait, sorry again. Last part. I was getting shot.
Yeah.
No,
So
if you just say that, hold on, just to be clear, if you just say that, okay, well, this guy, it makes sense for him to get stronger or get stronger at a faster rate or just be the one that actually got stronger since that time, then, I mean, like, why? I'm confused.
you're not tracking. Okay, I'm gonna put it to you like
I
an
am.
example. Let's say,
okay.
for example, we have two people, right?
Yeah.
And person number one, like we never saw either of them train or anything, but what we see is like person number one is all of a sudden now like completely fucking jacked. Like he's built, like he's huge now. While person number two literally like looks the exact same, moves the exact same, behaves the exact same. Obviously, like even though I haven't seen either of them train, and there's no evidence that the other guy got strong, even to an extent where he's stronger than person number one, it'd be more reasonable for you to posit that person number one is stronger. And I'm saying that in this case, where we see Poseidon hasn't changed in any way, shape, or form, while Zeus is gaining a blatant new, like significant amps that are a lot stronger than the stuff that he had in that previous fight. For example, Time Transcendent Fist and Adamas, which can both insta-kill the form that he used to fight Kronos, it would make more sense for Zeus to be stronger here. That's basically like my argument. It's a plausibility and likelihood increasing argument. So I'm not saying that yes, there's no evidence, and I'm just saying it makes more sense for Zeus to be stronger if anything. So yeah, I think Zeus is stronger than yeah.
So you think it's expected because Zeus actually showed like a difference in like either aesthetics or in your ability or something like that?
An immense difference to the point where he could insta-kill his previous form.
Okay, but we know that because you can compare Zeus now to his previous form. You can't do that with Poseidon.
But the point is that Poseidon just behaves the same, though. Like we can compare behavior.
He behaves the same, but you think that if you get stronger, it's expected for your behavior to change?
I mean, to an extent, yeah. Like
Why?
I'm saying that, yeah. I'm saying that because for one, to have such an immense gap. I'll give you an example. In fact, I'll just give you the Zeus example. He's now moving in like I arguably time stopper. If you don't disagree, like in almost like infinitesimally close to zero or whatever the fuck you think it is. That's something that he didn't have earlier. That's something completely distinct and completely different. Correct?
No, that's a new ability. I agree. But when you say, okay, well, the guy acts the same, you say, okay, well, maybe all of the panels that we see him from that
what I mean. Like, I'm
ancient
not talking about
time.
his behavior.
Hold on, relax. No, that's what I heard. Is that not what you said?
I'm not talking. Wait, hold on. When I say like acts the same, I'm not talking like behavior, like or his personality, like his emotions. I'm talking about like the shit he does in the fight. Like,
okay, Poseidon. I agree. Okay, so if you're just trapping the behavior thing, okay. Well, did we see Poseidon fight there? And To what degree? I'm confused because you have to actually compare these guys and say, okay, well, this guy like with Zeus is pretty clear because he was fighting for his life against Kronos. Like you said, he pretty much no-diffed them.
He was
And then here he gets so much stronger that he gets abilities and stuff, and he
fighting
just
for his
looks
life.
stronger,
Prove
right?
that.
Sorry.
Fighting for his life. Prove that.
Whatever it was, I'm not too original. I don't care. Whatever the fuck it was. And you say, okay, well, based on that change, you would say that, okay, well, the guy probably got stronger. I agree. He probably did get stronger. It's zero issue with that. But when you say, okay, well, Poseidon didn't get stronger because you don't see the same change, you have to have an adequate sample size for Poseidon of that age to say, okay, well, he didn't actually get the expected change.
Do you know why we don't need it?
Also,
It's
by the way, I don't
because-
agree with. By the way, just to be clear, I don't agree with you growing stronger being expected that you actually grow new abilities. By the way, I just think that your movements get stronger.
Sorry, I can get to that in a second, but do you know how I know that you don't need a sample size like other fights of Poseidon? Because of the commentary of the other gods in the fight. Nobody's saying the same shit that they were saying about Zeus. Like they're like, what the fuck is this? Like this guy's like a complete different level, like or some bullshit like that. They just expect Poseidon to fight, and like they just see Poseidon fight, and like yeah, like that's that nigga. Like he just like his abilities, like the same. Like he's described, like predicted by Brunhild, like people like Zeus, Odin, etc. And like it's the same. So I think it makes sense, or like less reasonable, in conjunction with Zeus just getting a lot stronger, getting a plethora of new abilities. Zeus to be stronger than Poseidon and growing stronger at a higher rate than Poseidon.
Okay. Well, that would just circle back to the same thing, but rather not narrative, but more inverse-wise. You'd be saying, okay, well, since these guys don't have the same reaction for Poseidon as they do for Zeus, then, okay, you just expected that the guy just had either a smaller growth rate or just a negligible growth rate. And so
Sure.
It just circles back, okay, did they see Poseidon? Did they have an adequate sample size for Poseidon?
Yes. A lot of them
Like,
fought
fighting at full
alongside
power?
Poseidon. A lot of them fought alongside Poseidon, yeah.
Like him at full
Ares
power?
fought alongside Poseidon. Hermes fought alongside Poseidon.
Him at full power?
At full power, what
Yeah.
would like you need to see to, like for it to be like full power?
No, because if he's fighting here and he's showing his full power here, and he's saying, okay, well, maybe it's not too bad, or they're just not too surprised because they saw this part of Poseidon. Like it's fine, but them not making a claim on him getting stronger. They just didn't see him at his strength. They just didn't see him. It's fine.
They didn't see him as strength.
He didn't see. They didn't see their strength or his strength. Sorry.
Oh, like so you're just saying like like there's no evidence of like Poseidon like, or sorry, there isn't any evidence of Poseidon like going all out or like just something of that nature like and to.
Yeah, you can't
like,
make a claim on Poseidon's full strength and say, okay, well, he got this much stronger if you never saw full power Poseidon.
I mean, you can hold on. Okay, your argument. Like I want to make it super clear. You're just saying like, oh, like they just didn't see his abilities, like the gods that made like the comments, right? Like people like Ares and Hermes who know a lot about.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and okay. I mean, I don't actually have a problem with that because I actually agree with you to an extent. Yeah, like they say like the depths of like Poseidon's abilities are kind of unimaginable, but even then,
Okay.
to the extent of what I'm talking about, which is that like even when we see in this fight, like we don't see Poseidon like being able to like insta blitz himself, like insta kill like himself, or just to the point where like because even then like we see like in the growth perspective, like Sasaki is still able to like react to some of the stuff even while he's progressively getting stronger. And before you argue,
What do you mean with
that,
the what do you mean blitz himself?
before you argue, Sasaki just got
I'm not clear
stronger.
what you said.
Wait, before you argue, you didn't understand what I said?
Yeah, you said that he's not able to insta blitz himself. What does that mean?
Wait, like in the perspective of Zeus, like, he just gets so much faster from like going like on par. Like let's say for example, Zeus and Adam are like fighting equally on equal ground, and then all of a sudden Zeus gets faster and like blitzes Poseidon. I would also posit that since they were equal, he'd also be able to blitz himself from earlier. And I'm saying this
No,
because
but you just told me that. Hold on. You just told me that, okay, well, comparative to Zeus grew so much that comparative to himself, he got this much stronger. Poseidon can't, like, in the context of a fight, he may not grow that much. It's fine. But I'm saying that, okay, well, since the time of the ancients when he fought the Titans, and okay, you're saying that, okay, well, Zeus is stronger because he won in this tournament, whatever. Because I still have an issue with that, by the way. I can bring it up later. But because they're not saying something, they're not saying, okay, well, this guy got that much stronger. It's cool. Like we just like it's not expected. We never saw this.
They didn't go all out, yes. But the problem with that is I'm
There's
saying
no
that this Poseidon not going all out or whatever is still pretty similar to like himself when he does go all out. Because we obviously agree that he went all out in the fight with Sasaki. Like we're not gonna sit here and say like he was holding back even against Sasaki, right?
In the last instance, yeah. But I'm not sure I can prove that. That's like pretty arbitrary because you're saying, okay, well, this guy Zeus, he blitzed himself and yada yada. Bro, according to my view, we already went over that like in the last 20 minutes. I think Sasaki in base is stronger than Zeus, and then he blitzed that, and Sasaki adjusted, and then he blitzed that again, and they Sasaki adjusted again. So I'm confused about this.
Okay,
What even is the argument?
The argument here, okay, I'll put it to you this way, right? We agree that Poseidon from earlier is weaker than Zeus, as you said, and then we see Poseidon fight here. You said
no. I agree that. Hon. I agree that Poseidon in the Age of the Ancients.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
He was fighting in that tournament, right? He was weaker than Zeus, while not going all out. That's the point. So he could have got stronger, and he also could have just.
I know that's what I'm talking about.
That's the point. Yeah, again.
That's what I'm talking. Yeah, I know that's what I'm talking about. I'm saying that the moment Poseidon starts the fight with Sasaki, no one's like shocked or anything. Nobody's saying like, oh, like this guy's like blitzing or like doing anything ridiculous. I think that's more evidence to believe that Poseidon didn't like gain like such radical strength to the point like where Zeus, like people were commenting and like saying like, oh, like this is like a whole different level. Like literally their bodies are shaking, blah blah blah. So if that's the case, one second. Wait, hold on, 1 second. It would make sense that Poseidon here isn't like that much stronger than Poseidon from the ancient times, and then to support that, to make it connect, that Poseidon isn't like so much weaker than the Poseidon that fights at the end of the fight where he's going all out, and that's the connective scale.
Wait, the point is that you're saying, okay, well, they got this, they're so surprised that, okay, well, Zeus got that much stronger, whatever. I can grant that, I don't care. But when you talk about Poseidon, you can't make a claim about him getting stronger. You can't be so surprised if you just never saw his full power. So you say, okay, well, it's expected. It would be expected if they saw an adequate sample of his full power. So if you say, okay, he didn't get that much, if you're saying that he didn't get that much stronger, even in his fight or from the Age of the Ancients, I don't really care. I'm just saying that you can't make a claim on him growing like the audience would with Zeus. Because they already saw presumably his power.
I just connected it. The way I connected it, I'll explain to you how the way I connected it. Okay, I'm gonna put it to you like person one. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Poseidon, I'm gonna type it for you. Holding back Poseidon to and.
Bro, I told you the issue that like a second ago. Dude.
So okay, so wait, what were you saying?
I told you the issue that a second ago. You're saying that because they made a claim on him growing stronger, specifically Zeus.
It's
and so
very hard
Zeus, you made a claim on Zeus growing stronger, and therefore, when he was stronger than Poseidon at the Age of the Ancients, he'd probably be stronger now as well. And so they're not saying, okay, well, this guy. They are saying that this guy grew stronger, but that would only make sense if they saw his full power. And so you can't expect these guys' narrative to say, okay, well, Poseidon grew stronger. Again, Poseidon grew stronger when they didn't see his full power. That's the whole fucking point. So when you say, okay, well, this guy was stated, this guy's unstated, it's expected. I agree it's expected, but it's just it's not relevant.
Again, I'm making a claim on them seeing his full power too, and I'm saying that at the end of the Sasaki fight. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I'm saying that Poseidon at the end of the Sasaki fight, who's going all out, isn't that much different from Poseidon at the beginning of the fight. He was still doing similar stuff. Yeah, he was speeding up and he was getting faster and stronger, but that gap wasn't to the same extent as Adam as Zeus spamming time transcendent fist and literally having the ability to insta-kill anything and literally having the ability to one-shot himself and insta-killing a character who was able to like previously snap his neck in one punch. I'm saying that gap is a lot bigger than character one maybe making more like after images or like at most or something like that. And that's bigger, like a character who's so much stronger all of a sudden to the point where like everyone in the audience is literally shaking because they see danger in front of them, like instinctively, isn't the same of a gap as the character who doesn't invoke a reaction from the audience of getting so much stronger, but rather that, oh, he's just holding back. This is expected of him. So if that is the case, in conjunction with people knowing that he's fought way earlier in fights like the Giants fight like that we just talked about earlier, it would make sense that we can connect that ancient Poseidon to the end of fight going all out Sasaki, and then we can compare that to the gap between Zeus from the ancient era to the current era to final form fucking Adamas, like invincibility or sort of the fuck it's called. Those two things are completely different. And I think that is further corroboration and further support that Zeus is a lot stronger than Poseidon, even in terms of growth rate. So do you understand the connective scaling? I want to make that super clear.
Hold on. But just to be clear, when you say, okay, well, this guy got the blitz faster, that's kind of vague to me. So first and foremost, like when you say, okay, well, this guy, okay, he was stated to be weaker there. First and foremost, like not only that, I say, okay, well, it's not really expected for them to make the same statement of Poseidon now. And if they did,
are you
wouldn't-
fine with me interrupting Zizu or no?
it's
I'm
still
just
not-
going mute
I mean,
for
we
now.
don't-
Yeah, you can
This
go
nigga's
for
gonna
it. You
duck
can
me.
go for it.
Can we mute
Zizu,
him?
do you mind
Can we
if I
mute
interrupt or no?
Go
Like,
for it.
mute
Go
him?
for it. Go for
oh,
it.
Can we
Come
mute
on, bro.
so since Zizu
Can we mute
already ditched you, what topic would you like to do?
Yeah, can we mute him?
What topic would you
Wait,
like to do?
you're too asked for that. Stop.
I'm
Can
sorry,
we mute
you
him?
didn't even
Wait.
properly speak there.
You're,
But what
you're
topic
too
would you
asked for
like to
that. You're too asked for that. Stop. You're too asked
Wow.
for that. Yeah.
Wow. Anyways, what topic would you like to do, Gyro?
We can talk about whatever, whenever.
Why are you
Okay.
stuttering? But what topic would
No,
you
I
like to
didn't stutter once, by the way. I didn't stutter once, by the way.
do? What topic
Or
would you like to do?
you're
Can we,
so hot
can we mute him? Can we mute him?
I ain't gonna lie, bro. You just lost to Zizu, so I'm
Wait,
gonna
Arjun, can we meet him?
towards you,
Arjun.
but what topic?
Yo,
would you like to
hold on. Is the debate over between Zizo
Can
and
we mute him?
Gyro?
Yeah, wait, is it done? Is
I
it
mean,
done?
mute him?
we can. I think
Okay,
we're gonna
look,
like go.
I
Can we
know,
mute
I
him?
think I'm
Like,
going on
bro,
mute.
okay, please.
Look, it might be my fault. You might be right. So I'm gonna go on mute after I ask this question. What topic would you like to do?
Can we mute him?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I think he's.
Thank
gonna
God.
keep
Again,
that-
brother,
Infinity,
stop.
he's
Can you
gonna
stop
keep
speaking?
fucking
Can you stop
scared
speaking?
of you. But like, let's
Can we
get
stop
back to
speaking?
me, Gyro.
Are you
Yes,
guys
sir.
ending the debate?
Wait, I'm sorry. So I asked the question, then I went on
Right.
mute to make sure I
Like,
wasn't the problem.
Arjun,
So
what the
wait,
fuck?
what was the reason as to
Yo,
why you
wait,
wouldn't answer?
is the
Obviously,
debate
wasn't me
done? Is the
cutting you
debate
off.
done?
Nigga muted himself for you, bro.
I'm sorry, I muted myself. So what was the reason as to why you didn't answer the
You
question?
Infinity, we can
Obviously,
debate
wasn't me.
afterwards too. Since you're
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Gyro
follow
on
me.
the Vatican shit.
Just to
Hey,
make sure, wait,
guys,
just to make
yeah.
sure for the mods, Zizu, you are completely fine with me interrupting, correct?
Yeah, like go for it. We already know
And
like
you
he's
were the
gonna
one
duck you
debating him,
anyways.
correct?
Like Infinity, like we already know he's gonna duck you anyways because like you're a lot better than him. But like,
Yes, you're retarded.
So look, we
Okay,
can.
can I finish what I'm saying?
So let me also
Can I
make.
finish what I'm
So
saying?
let me make something else clear as well.
Can I finish
I'm
what I'm saying?
completely fine with agreeing to a moderator, by the way.
Can we finish what I'm
I'm
saying?
the moderator, guys. I'm the
Can we
moderator.
finish what I'm saying?
Guys,
Can we finish what I'm saying?
I'm pretty sure.
Infinity,
Greece
Can we
the
finish
Bible-
what I'm saying?
Infinity.
Yo,
Can we
what's
finish
up?
what I'm
what do I
saying?
do?
Yeah,
can I
just
finish
beat
what I'm
his
saying?
ass like 5 more minutes and then.
Wait,
Yeah,
Zizo,
yeah,
I beat
ping me when you're done,
Wait,
Zizo, ping me when you're
Zizo,
done.
I beat
Yeah, like,
fuck.
bro, like I'll come
Wait,
with you. So
Zizo,
yeah, like
Zizo, you're
very
confused with the
good
conversation, by the way. But yeah, besides that, brother, you understand that when you say, okay, well, these guys made a statement, and therefore, okay, well, when you say, okay, well, this guy got so much stronger in the fight, that the statement would still apply. That's vague to me, first of all. And second of all, the statement doesn't apply because the guy was holding back then. So you understand that doesn't work,
you're
right?
still repeating yourself. Okay, so yeah, like
You're confused as fuck.
I don't really have anything to say. Like you can't talk about a person earlier holding back when it talks about a narrative statement. But like yeah, let's go for it. Like you can say your
Wait, again?
shit.
Again?
Yeah, you can. We can conclude. I think we're done.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
it's
you're terrible, yeah. But yeah, regardless, we can talk
not
about
a
something
good
else.
for you. And I think that's it.
Fine.
That's really like,
Other people had
that's really
to
my-
contact other people to actually vote for you on polls. You're retarded. Don't ever speak like that
I
again.
think your voters were you and Vortex. Like, what are we talking about?
You wanna check the polls again?
Huh?
You wanna check the polls again? I won almost every poll. And then people were saying in chat that I was literally asking people to vote for you because it was so bad for you. Don't ever speak like that again. You're terrible at debating.
What are you talking about? People were
What are you
voting for you with
talking about?
eyes and you.
What are you talking about?
It's just not true.
Everyone there is more competent than your voters, by the way. Just saying. But yeah, regardless,
Everyone's more
yeah, we
Even
can.
though
Do you wanna
you-
conclude or do we wanna conclude or?
I just think you're just making insurance for yourself, just in case you do actually lose the polls. You're like, oh yeah, like I said to vote.
You guys
for
wanna
by the way,
conclude,
so
bro?
I didn't lose. Guys.
Yeah, I already told him to conclude. I don't know why he doesn't want to
Yeah,
conclude.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know like, why
You just lost. You just lost everything. Yeah.
Yeah, so just like get back to the point again about just the
What
statement.
point? You just agreed to conclude.
So like the point I'm talking about is like the pinnacle.
You are
statement, 'cause I
sorry.
feel- So back to the pinnacle statement, I explained to you like why Gyro lost this really badly is because one, his contention about it was like it referring to his king status, but the issue with the king status is that one, that is based on strength. We know this because Zeus won a contest of power against a person who's stated to be literally the strongest god of the universe at the time, and that guy got completely one-tapped by Zeus. So Zeus is already a lot stronger than Poseidon back then. And then we see just Zeus getting a lot stronger to the point where like the gods are literally shaking in fear about how much stronger this nigga is getting. And I'm saying that's different from all of them seeing Poseidon fight and having the same calm nature and calm reaction about Poseidon and stuff. Yes, Poseidon's getting stronger. Yes, Poseidon's getting faster. Nobody disagrees with that. But what we are disagreeing is that the rate of change between two characters, for one, to literally have every single character instinctively shaking in fear about how much stronger this guy is compared to character number two, who isn't doing any of that or anything remotely even similar to that. It makes more sense. The character was earlier stronger, and you can see that Zeus was earlier stronger. It makes sense for him to like literally be using fucking infinite speed-based literal abilities and god-like bullshit like that would be a lot stronger than a character who's just moving around with his fucking trident, waving it around. I just think that because of that, it makes more sense for Zeus to have a lot stronger rate of power, like in terms of change, even then. So yeah, it just makes sense that Zeus is getting stronger at a faster rate. Zeus is stronger. He has better statements, better feeds, better everything. Just Zeus slams like.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so there's a very simple issue with this. Again, when you say, okay, well, these guys, Zeus beat someone who was stronger than Poseidon at the time, and then he was just stated to be stronger at the time because he won some contest. First and foremost, when I say, okay, well, Poseidon was holding back then, we don't know whether or not he went all out. That already kind of disqualifies that feat. Let's start with that. Unless the guy he beat is always just going to be stronger than Poseidon. And when you say, okay, well, these guys are shaking, and they're shaking because he's so strong and he got so much stronger, it's cool. It's just a comparative statement. They're saying, okay, well, in comparison to Zeus back then, he got so much fucking stronger. You can't make that same statement. You can't make or give that same reaction when you don't know about the full strength of fucking Poseidon. So when he was holding back then, when he was probably weaker, then how can you actually backscale that? And your reason for that was, okay, well, this guy got so much stronger in the fight, he was blitzing himself. And I told you that's incredibly vague because you're trying to cross compare these two random characters and say, okay, well, he's growing stronger in that fight. That's cool, but that's not really relevant because the guy I'm talking about is already perceived to be stronger by me. So he could not grow as much in that fight, but he would still be stronger than Zeus. Holy fucking retard. Anyway, we conclude, yeah?
Hello.